Palestinians throughout historic Palestine are living under an apartheid regime with varying degrees of intensity. Palestinians in Israel are effectively denationalized, and those living in the Gaza Strip since 2007 have lived under a brutal, not to mention illegal, siege and blockade. Israel illegally annexed East Jerusalem in contravention of international law and therefore applies Israeli law to its residents, a system fraught with its own institutional discrimination. In the West Bank, however, a more intricate form of division and domination exists. Two unequal national communities live in the West Bank. Approximately 3 million Palestinians and about 440 Israeli Jewish settlers, excluding East Jerusalem. The former are subject to military laws and courts, and the latter are subject to Israeli civil laws, thereby structurally discriminating based on nationality. Israel's High Court of Justice enshrined this separation by characterizing illegal settlements on the West Bank as, quote, Israeli enclaves, and therefore logically applying Israeli laws toward what the High Court considers extensions of the Israeli state. This created a hierarchy of rights for two peoples living in the same land. This dual legal system was established through two processes: establishing military rule immediately after the Nexa or June 67 war, and applying Israeli law on a personal and extraterritorial basis, thereby attempting to circumvent international law's prohibition on annexation. Not only does this separation exist in military orders and regulations, but also through court rulings. The legal basis for Israel's military rule in the West Bank derives from emergency regulations enacted by the British military authorities in Palestine in 1945, designed to subjugate the indigenous Palestinians and repress resistance to the British colonial rule. In 1967, the logic of this policy was transferred to the Occupied Palestinian Territories. Military court reports show that Palestinian conviction rate is 99% for those charged, and military court charges are divided into categories, the most notorious one being hostile terrorist activity and illegal entry into Israel. These categories are sweeping in scope and criminalize basic political activity and organizing. Since 1967, Israel has imposed over 1,800 military orders in the occupied territories, enforced by a military court system that lacks fundamental fairness and guarantees. Even the pretense of impartiality is non-existent, given that the courts are exclusively run by military personnel and active duty soldiers. Under this system, military orders take precedence over Israeli law and, more importantly, international law.